So what am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? This place is a mess. What have you done? I was upstairs working, and now look what you've done.
It's gorgeous when we got here last night. Mia was kind enough while I was working today with my day job that actually pays the bills to come in here and strip off all the rest of the wainscoting in the living room. And so part of that stripping is just like we had last week. You didn't get to see it though. Is we strip off the paneling. What they've done is they've literally glued paneling to the drywall without primer paint, and so they glued it. And the wainscoting, when you peel it off, it peeled part of the paper with it. And so now, in order to smooth it out, we have to basically skim coat the whole thing, and we need to do it twice. So the first pass is going to make some of this exposed paper here bubble, and so if we put one coat on, it'll firm that up, basically seal it in, and then the second coat will come back the next day. And the second coat will make it nice and smooth, like we did over here. This wall's looking pretty good. Still needs a little bit of coat on it, but we prime it, and you take another look at it and do one more coat. And so we'll do the rest of these walls like this. And so right now I'm actually cutting out the pieces of paper that have been loosened, pulled away from the drywall, because when I put like this right here, this is a perfect example. So when you go to put the skim coat on this will just bubble right up, and it's just going to come right out. So you just tear it off now. We get a little less bubbling, and it won't be as much as a mess. In the other side of the living room from where I started, this is the red wall over here. And the red wall here, when we pull the wainscoting off of this, it's really bad. I mean, so bad that it doesn't even make sense to skim this wall. When we pulled off the wainscoting over here, what we found underneath is this mess. And so it's all patched in. We've got patches here, patches there. Just this whole wall is just a mess of patches and big globs of glue. And on this one, Mia and I went and picked up pieces of drywall. We're going to cut this section out and then put in a fresh drywall and start there.
So what's going on over here?
Over here, it's a little different. So this was behind the wainscoting. We knew this was here. This is the under the stair access from the living room, and it big hole, big storage space, no real access from the other side right now. And so what I need to do is actually build a frame in here and make a door so we can get in. But in order to do that, I need to pull this out, build an actual frame, put some drywall below it as well, do some patching because there's some big holes here we found behind the wainscoting.
Looks like you did something really amazing and took out that horrible bookcase or
Yeah, it was
coat closet slash
shelf.
I don't even know.
Like a couple boards with boards for shelves on it, which is kind of handy. It did have a coat rack here. We're going to do something else with coats. But pulled this all out, opened it up, and I thought, well, let's get it off and clean it up. But here's the scary thing. First thing I noticed when we had pulled this board out of here was that we had this angle piece here, and I went, what? That looks like a piece of casing for a door. Sure enough, it's a piece of casing for a door. They just left it there. And down here, it's a big lump. And up here, they actually floated the taping mud to it. So this goes up, and if you can see, just follow me up here, right here, this is our miter joint for a door frame. So we've got a miter joint here, this door casing went up and over here, and this used to be the front door. But they didn't fully take out the trim, they just took out the door and mudded over it. Lord knows what's below this. So what I'm going to need to do is cut this piece of trim out, clean it up, because down here, I'm not floating this. So we're going to take out the trim, and not only that, because the trim is still on, you can see there's a full 1/4 inch difference between this wall surface and this wall surface. So I've got to get this out, tape this and fill it properly, and then smooth it over. So this whole strip from here all the way up to 7 foot needs to be cut out and done properly. weekend, another trip to the beach. So here we are, Easter Sunday. We've been here for a few nights. We only worked in the house a couple days because we had to work remotely on Friday. But I want to start with this room, and we'll intersperse with some of the time-lapse video we did. But this room was all cleaned, stripped. All the poles were patched by Ann, and we primed this whole space. So got rid of all the old kind of gross nicotine smell in here, the weird looks, did a little patching over here in the corner, did some skimming to make it look better. And then when it was all done and primed, we put it all back together, and so it looks pretty darn good if you look at the befores and after of this space. So that's one of the things we did. Paint, always big bang for the buck. That's it for this space. All right, come on in here and see what we really did this weekend. So the work continues in this front room, and the amazing thing is how we're able to tear it to bits over the couple days, and then just before we leave, we put it all back together. It looks nice like this again, so we can enjoy it the next time we come. But what really took place here this weekend was taking off the last of the wainscoting. And it was a serious amount of work. So we started with this wall over here to my left, the front wall, and stripped all the wainscoting off of it. Cleaned up the drywall, skimmed it. I think this was Friday night. We did this work here, and then we also stripped the royal we. Actually, our daughter Mia did it. Mia did all the work on stripping the wainscoting off of here, which I'm grateful for, while we were working. So she stripped it all off of these walls, all around here, and then behind the chair in this space. So what we discovered was, we already knew there was one big hole over here for the understairs. There was also an old heater hole that we had to patch in. And then another funky hole over here. We don't know what that was about. That got patched too. And so there's a lot of patching that got done, and then you have to put the baseboards on. But when we got to this section and we pulled it off, it looked like a jigsaw puzzle of scrap pieces of drywall, and it was just an absolute mess. So we realized that it would be better just to rip it all off. Cleaner, easier, because there's so much glue as well. And we cut this all out, put a brand new piece of drywall in, taped it, mudded it, and primed it right now. So it looks pretty good. It needs another coat of topping compound, smooth it out, make it all look really perfect. Behind this chair, this is all pretty normal. We skim coated this one, and so this is all primed. The red wall here that was once here is gone, which is like great. Now it's not overwhelming when you walk in. This room got so much bigger, but it kind of got bigger because over here at the front door we had this weird shelf thing that the previous owners had built, and Mia hated it. She wanted it gone. We said, well, we can make it shorter or do something with it, but we ended up tearing it out. And when we tore it out, we realized it was kind of a mess. It also pointed out to me that over here, this strip here was where they basically left in the trim, which is just like this, sat over here, and this was the trim for the original front door, which was right here. It sat right here, a 3-foot door. So they moved it over here on the other side of the electrical panel and did a really poor job patching this in. We still need to do some work. So we need to do some chiseling, a little bit more finesse to get this all to fit quite right, and then really float this over so it looks smooth and it won't look all bumpy and messy. And again, there's a lot of dips here. Gonna have to do some real work to make this look nice and make it mostly disappear. And then we'll figure out what we're gonna do with the space. Obviously, the electrical panel's not moving. We could move it. It's a huge expense, not going there. So that's gonna stay. But when we're done, this is going to be all nice, and then we have to do some patching crown molding up here, which isn't a big deal. And that's kind of a wrap for the weekend. It was a lot of work, even though when I look around, it's like, oh, we're all just in this room, but it was a major amount of work that we got done.
Ready for pizza! Oh my god, are you recording?
What a mess.